you're confident what you're doing and what your product and what you have and what you're doing and you're passionate about it, people are going to see that. They're going to feel that, and that's going to strive a lot more further.
Well, hello and welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. I am so excited to introduce our next guest in the Coaches That Don't Suck series, Louis Rios. My goodness, I checked with him before. I'm terrible sometimes when I get started with this and get so fired up.
No worries.
But that's okay. You know, Louis Rios is an accomplished entrepreneur. And he is a CEO and a life coach with over 14 years of experience in home healthcare and business leadership. He is the founder of Continuum Home Healthcare, a company dedicated to providing high quality personalized care that empowers clients to remain independent at home. Louis also owns Hotbox Tacos, a creative culinary venture fueled by his passion for food and innovation. And I'm a big foodie too, so I can totally appreciate going that direction with entrepreneurship. Known for his expertise in team building, operational efficiency, and client-focused service, Louis has grown his business into both of his businesses into thriving organizations. Beyond his entrepreneurial success, he is passionate about mentorship, offering business coaching programs that help other entrepreneurs overcome challenges, scale their operations, and achieve a balanced and fulfilling life. Louis is a lifelong learner and visionary, committed to making a positive impact in his industries and his community. And on a personal note, we were both enrolled in the same coaching program, and Louis is one of those proactive people who reached out, made a connection, and I'm just gonna let you know, he's really impressed me already with how he approaches the connections and the relationships. We've had some rescheduling because of family things, and I mean, like, this is what it's all about. Louis, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amanda, for having me. I'm so excited to be here, so excited to share my story, and so excited to share it with all your viewers.
I love it. I love it. So, Louis, I mean, you have been in business for some time. You're launching your group coaching program. You have a diversity of businesses, so you're in different industries. I mean, tell us a little bit about this story. What has led you to where you are today?
Well, it starts not really from a traditional entrepreneur mindset. I kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship, I would say. It all started with my father. My father became really ill in 2015 or so and really was sick, needed a lot of help. And my mom needed a lot of help as well. So I decided to just step away from my position that I was at, went to go help my dad. Took care of him for 2 years. He got really ill, ended up passing. And then I ended up going into this state where I was just going to go back to where I was doing manufacturing. I was actually going to be a quality control manager. And so I wanted my quality engineer certificate, all those good things. I was going to go back to school, get my degree, and that's where I was going to be heading. That's where my mindset was at that time. But basically, what it ended up happening, I go into this individual's house. I get called actually from the agency that I was taking care of my father from. And they said, we have two individuals who are needing care. And one's Hispanic, one is another individual that's a lot younger but needs care, wants a male. And so I said to them, I'm really not interested. I just lost my father. I'm just not in that state of mind right now to do something like that. They're like, we totally understand. 2 weeks go by. I need to pay bills. I need to get things figured out. So I called the agency back and I said, look, what I can do is I can provide a week or two of work and I can get you that gap of time to find the right perfect individuals for these clients. And they said, yeah, that'd be great. Just give us 2 weeks. Anything at this point would be great. So I started off with the one individual who was 89 at the time, World War II vet, and was Latino, and I connected with him. He ended up kind of giving me this healing that I didn't know I really needed after losing my dad, but truly reminded me of my dad, reminded me of the things he loved, his coffee, the way he liked his eggs, just all these different things that reminded me of my dad. And so I knew I was in the right place, and I began my journey there. So I started there. I ended up taking care of another couple gentlemen, and then this opportunity opened up in the office. And so what I did was I applied for the job. It was an office full of 13 women. No men had been in that office for 20 years of operation. So I definitely didn't think I
Wow.
had a good chance, but I still applied and I got the job. And so what I ended up doing when I landed at this position, I was determined to learn the business from the back
Hmm.
end. And not only from that perspective, but I also wanted to be a help, a beacon of light. I really wanted to be a resource for the individuals that I was going to go and help, all these families. I knew it was something that was inside of me that I was meant to do. And so I started off at that position. I learned everything that I could possibly be and do to be a help and a resource to all these families, because I knew it was a dark time. I knew it was a scary time. I knew that it was time that they didn't really know what they were about to embark in. And so I wanted to kind of be someone who led more of an example, explaining the role, what was going to happen, how this was going to be from start to finish, and how we were going to carry your loved one, and that you could trust me from start to finish.
That's
And so
incredible.
then I
Yeah,
basically kind of
continue.
no, and so basically from there, I I learned a lot about the position. I end up going on to becoming the manager there, lead two offices, just learn a lot more about the business side, which I wasn't really planning on doing. But I was put into this position to say, hey, we need you as a leader. And you're really showing this leadership skills that you can bring a team together that typically doesn't really gel well. And I was very good at learning people's personalities and making people work well together to know and understand that we had a job to accomplish. And so I got really well at that. And then years went by. The business goes bankrupt. Takes a little bit of
Mm.
time for me to kind of figure out my next steps. I go to another agency, and then that company ends up selling to out of state. And then I asked my wife, I said, hey, I have this passion, this drive, and I have a lot of this understanding of this business side. I really want to take a chance and open up Continuum Home Healthcare. And so I took a line of credit on the house, and it didn't really go as easy as I wanted it to go, but I started it. And that's all I knew I had to do. I had to get to that starting point.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love your story, Louis, because it starts so grassroots, like you're right there on the ground doing the work, and it's reminding me a lot of actually how I got into coaching in the first place. I would characterize it was accidental, and there was this
Hmm.
necessity and I had to step into
Right.
this role, and it was like uncertain and not terribly well paved or well worn path, but it was very
Correct.
needed and people were responding. And I really love too like how you didn't just jump right in to, okay, I'm going to take over this space, which is what a lot of people will try to do as an entrepreneur. They'll just try to like move in and be disruptive, but it's like to really be able to disrupt and to do things really differently, it helps a lot to understand what it is that you're disrupting. Because I have to imagine that,
Right.
the long term care and the late in life care, there's so many complexities around the insurance and the expense management and the regulations and all
Yes.
of those kinds of things, right?
Yes. I mean, I think in what we do, we play a lot of roles. It's like I tell my team, sometimes you're going to be a firefighter, sometimes you're going to be a coach that day, sometimes you're mentoring, sometimes you're just a listener, you're just an ear for somebody. And a lot of times that's what we're looking to do, is to be that resource, that comfort for these families that come to us, because they're in need. They're in a place of where they really don't know where to go and where to look, and they don't know exactly what are the best options. And so I always tell families that call or want to get resources from us is that you don't have to choose my agency, but what I want to do is I want to educate you. I want to make sure that you're making the best decision for your loved one. That's important to me,
Mm-hmm.
regardless if you go with my agency or not. It's just that important to me that you know exactly the roadmap that you're going to go right in this part of your life right now, because it's going to change. Your role as daughter, wife, grandson, granddaughter, those roles change. You become caregiver. And so it's kind of a uncharted road that you're not going to really know how to navigate unless you have someone that's kind of steering you along and showing you, hey, be careful, these things might be dangerous, these things are better for you, or this is better suited for you and your loved one.
Yeah, that's really, really powerful. And there's a huge principle here too, where you're putting the needs of the client and the customer journey like above everything, above whether they hire you or not, regardless of the decisions that they make. Leaving the power with that consumer, with the customer, is such a competitive move. Like, I really hate to say it, in we're heading into 2025 at the time of this recording. But I notice in the expert industry, there's so much, Brendan Burchard calls it selfie culture. And it's all
Mm,
about that, what's my brand? What's my personal brand? How am I appearing to everybody? And of course, branding and marketing is really, really important. But if you forget what it's all for, the journey that people are on, that reminder to the consumer that, like, hey, you don't have to buy from me. I just want you to be clear, with, because we have this expertise, I want to give that expertise really freely so that you can make an empowered decision. That builds
right.
so much more trust than picking the right colors or having the right logo.
I believe so. I think a lot of people
Hmm.
get lost in the brand, and I do understand that 100%. I mean, it's all about the business. We're going into 2025. It is a dog eat world, as they say. But at the same time, I think if you're confident what you're doing and what your product and what you have and what you're doing and you're passionate about it, people are going to see that. They're going to feel that, and that's going to strive a lot more further than just all the branding and all the prettiness that you want to put around the logo or the brochure that you're handing out or whatever you're really doing for the business that you're doing. I think those things get you lost. I think the core where we need to be at is the heart needs to still be behind what you're doing. That's what I go with the individuals who I coach and I mentor. I really press the fact that I want you to be passionate about what you're doing. I want you to love what you're doing. I want you for the energy to come across to who's listening, who you're pitching your business to, and who you're selling. Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, people are going to see whether you're real or not. Even though you want to
Hmm.
try to make yourself authentic, that can't be faked. That's just
Totally.
real. And if
Yeah.
you love what you're doing, if you're a true coach and you truly want to help and you really want to be someone of service, it's going to shine. And I'm
I,
that
I, I
confident that you're
love
going to want
this.
to learn from me, that I don't have to go and beg for the sale, I guess, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. I was actually chatting with a member in our community today over Messenger, and they were frustrated, as a lot of people can be, about their success in their business. That, they're feeling. I asked them just straight up. I was like, they were struggling with paying for just like the technology and the software to be able to keep going, and to pay for
Gotcha.
having their business license and stuff. And I asked them, like, so, like, what's going on here? Like, are we paying for it out of our family budget? Are we, is the business paying for it? And really, like, at the root, this person really needs to get very clear about how to make an offer people want to buy. But their concern was like, should I be taking out credit cards? And I was like, not without a plan. Like,
Right.
I've used business financing, I've used credit cards, credit lines. You mentioned taking the risk with your house. It's one thing to do that to push off the pain of having to make a payment today. It's another thing to take out a line of credit or take out a credit card or to borrow money with a plan for how you're going
Right.
to
Right.
turn that into an authentic investment. And so, like, I was telling this person they can't afford to work with me, obviously, because they're in this position. I was like, you need to read a book on how to make an offer, and you need to be able to do that and stop
Right.
telling yourself that it's just magically going to come.
Yeah, and I think that's where some entrepreneurs can get lost and think that it's a road or the path that they're taking that they feel is going to bring success. And a lot of those times it's just that they're lost on the path. They're not necessarily being guided. And like you said, there's times where you can't provide that coaching or whatnot because they need a little bit more, read a couple books, go in, do some more research. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the reasons of why you are where you are. You know, if you're not strategically planning and getting yourself put into places and knowing individuals who are going to get you into rooms or get you to, land deals and things of that nature, you're really putting a lot of risk on your personal finances or whatever you're going to take a line of credit or whatever the situation might be. You know, with my situation, I had it at the end of the rope of when that company was going to go out of state. I had talked with the individual agencies that were there, and I knew that there was over 175 girls that were going to lose work. There was 275 clients that were going to go without care, and that just did not sit well with me. So I went to all of those agencies, excuse me, and I conducted all of the transfers. So I made sure that each and every one of those individuals had a job and still had care. And all the agency had to do was just take the client from me and literally just apply them to their agency. So they were like, all day, let's go. But the contract manager that worked at that agency said to me, look, if you get your own agency, you have a contract here with us. I'm going to waive the 3-year certification that most agencies have to go through. What you just did, you showed me that you will go above and beyond, no matter what the circumstances are.
This,
and I know
this is the real work of entrepreneurship, is like
right.
seeing
this
here's
is
the
the
gap.
pre-planning to where I was going to go. And not only was that, but the caregiving, the side of being the family and the caregiver himself, that led me to see all of the circle of how this business runs and how I could be successful at running a business on my own. You know,
Yeah, I love
but those were steps and plans before I just said I'm going to go take out a line of credit. No, you have to have pre-planned steps. You have to plan, or you plan to fail.
love this so
You know,
much. Louis, we need to do like a deeper session, I think, sometime, because we just touched on a lot of things, and I'd love to have the opportunity to interview you in a longer session someday, because
absolutely.
you went into a female dominated field. So I'm like super curious about what that experience was like for you. You're building this group coaching business. You got like all this stuff going, but in the meantime, what's the best way for people to follow you?
The best way for you to follow me is on Instagram. It's Louis_Rios_23. You'll be able to find my Elevate Mindset group coaching, which I'll be launching in January. I'm super excited about that. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm Louis Rios there. Follow me. Shoot me a DM. I'll love to give you my free worksheet that I do. And also to my courses. I have a lot of courses that I would love to showcase. So definitely give me a follow.
Love it. Listener, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a review. Louis he did a great job. I'm giving him 5 stars. He was awesome. But seriously, those reviews help others to find the episode and to make time for it. And go ahead and share this episode with 3 of your friends. You can just grab the link and send it to them on text, on DM, however you like to watch this. And we'll make sure to have all of Louis's links in the show notes. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.